Hi, I'm Sanmanta Kumari Guru. In this presentation, I'll be sharing an overview of my literature review focused on the National Quality Standard, Quality Area 5, that is relationships with children. So this quality area, it is particularly important because relationships form the foundation of every child's learning, well-being, identity, and participation in early childhood settings. I have already done the literature review on this quality area. So in this presentation, I'm going to explain how quality area is conceptualized, how it connects with policy documents like the EOLF version 2 and Acacia resources, and what recent Australian research reveals about how relationships shape outcomes for the children. I will also highlight findings from the literature, discuss what meeting and exceeding quality area 5 looks like in practice, and identify, I'll be talking about one significant gap um, in this current research. And finally, I'm going to give some practical recommendations for strengthening the quality area 5 as part of continuous quality improvement. This presentation is based on Australian studies, Acacia documents, and I have used the EOLF documents, ensuring that it is aligned with current national frameworks and practice expectations. So talking about the rationale, I selected quality area 5 because relationships are central to children's belonging, being, and becoming. Relationships are essential for children, be it the relationship with their peers, with their educators, or with their families. Relationship has emotional, ethical, and developmental significance. The EOLF version 2 identifies secure, respectful, and reciprocal relationships as the foundation for children's learning. Without secure relationships, children cannot regulate their emotions. They they won't be able to develop their confidence, and they won't be able to fully participate in playground and learning. So this quality area has a strong it also has strong challenges in the early childhood sector, especially educator well-being, workforce stability, staff burnout, and cultural responsiveness. A recent study by Murray et al. Consistently shows that educators' emotional capacity and mental health directly influence how effectively they build relationship with children. So in reviewing the literature, it became clear that strong relationships do not happen automatically. They require intentionality, reflection, and an environment that supports educators to be emotionally present and as per children's needs. So, summary of the literature review that I have done on this quality area 5, relationship with children. So, quality area 5 is built on two standards, that is standard 5.1, relationships between educators and children, and standard 5.2, relationships between children. So, these standards include four elements that guide relational practice. So summarizing this literature review, Murray et al., a study done by Murray and his colleagues in 2025, they emphasize that relationships are essential for children's social emotional well-being, while AITSL highlights that warm interactions reduce behavioral issues and support engagement within the children. And environmental influences are also prominent. A calm, flexible environment promote peer collaboration and emotional regulations for the children, while loud and overcrowded spaces increases stress and conflict. Thus, the physical environment is not separate from relationships, it directly shapes them. Another major theme is educator well-being. Canopy et al. 2024 shows that educators with higher professional well-being perform stronger bonds. They form stronger bonds with the children. and they are more likely to stay in the profession, supporting the continuity of the care. The literature also presents different perspectives. So some studies critique behaviorist approaches to self-regulation, advocating instead for trauma-informed, rights-based relational approaches that align with the EOLF version 2. So finally, researchers like Davis and Harrison in the year 2023, they highlighted some gaps in cultural responsiveness, especially the need to incorporate Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander perspectives in the program. Findings: meeting and exceeding standards. So my findings highlight several ways quality area 5 can be met and exceeded. To meet standard 5.1, that is relationship with the between the educators and the children, educators must demonstrate warm, consistent interactions, active listening, emotional attachment, and upholding the dignity and rights of every child. Trust and predictability form the foundation in this element. So now talking about the meeting standard 5.2, that is the relationship between children, involves supporting peer relationships through play, helping children collaborate, help them engage them in problem-solving activities, and then help them develop self-regulation, emotion regulations. However, exceeding these standards require evidence of intentional, reflective, and embedded whole service approaches. So some examples of exceeding practices include, like, we can have trauma-informed relational pedagogy, we can have consistent behavior guidance approaches across the service, and we can actively seek family and cultural input to understand children's relational needs, incorporating Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders perspectives on connection and belonging. We can also have strong continuity of educators to support secure attachments, systematic reflection, and documentation of relational pedagogy. So there are certain barriers to exceeding quality area 5 that includes educator burnout, high turnover rates, inconsistent environments, and limited professional learning. So these things are the barriers to exceeding quality area 5. So a key finding is the gap in the current literature. The gap in this current literature is that children's voices are missing. Most studies focus on adult perspectives, what they say and what they think, but we are lacking the insights from children about how they experience relationships, inclusions, or conflict. This gap limits our ability to fully understand relational quality from the children's viewpoint. So that is, no research has been done taking into consideration the child's viewpoint. So that is the gap in this literature. So now recommendations. So based on the literature, several recommendations are made to support continuous improvement in the quality area 5, relationships with children. So first one is we can strengthen relational and rights-based pedagogy. So educators benefit from training in trauma-informed practice, attachment theory, and co-regulation strategies, and also cultural humility. And then with this they can develop a positive relationship with their children. Second one is prioritizing educator well-being within the quality improvement plans. Like the research done by NG et al. 2023 and also by Canopy et al. 2024 highlights that educators cannot provide high quality relational care when they are stressed, burnt out, or unsupported. So services should implement mentoring, supervision, well-being policies, and workload balance initiatives. The third one is designing environments that support relationships. So environmental design should promote calm, connection, and emotional safety. Quiet zones, natural materials, flexible layouts, and small group spaces help children feel secure and capable. Hence, they tend to develop positive relationship. Another recommendation is to include children's voices. So that is the gap in this literature. And then the recommendation is also to include their voices. So since children's perspectives are missing from Quality Area 5 research, services should use child-friendly reflective tools such as drawings, conversations, photo stories to understand how children experience relationships. Other recommendation is to embed cultural responsiveness, drawing on Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders perspectives, values such as reciprocity, connectedness, and community belonging that strengthens Quality Area 5 and supports inclusive practices. So Quality Area 5 reminds us that genuine supportive relationships are at the core of children's learning and well-being. The evidence shows that when educators are caring, consistent, and well supported, children feel secure and engaged. By strengthening relational practice, prioritizing educator well being, and listening to children's perspective, services can go beyond basic expectations and create warm, inclusive environments for every child. They can have like positive and strong relationships, and then it is beneficial for the children. Thank you so much.